Well, Governor Blagojevich, welcome. And Governor Blagojevich, a Democrat, by the way. I don't know if you still are a Democrat, but you were a Democrat back then. President Trump, big heart. Your case was a fake one. How does it feel? You're pardoned. He commuted your sentence. Now you're pardoned. How you feeling?
I feel great. You know, Greg, I went to bed on Super Bowl Sunday. I was a felon, convicted felon. Woke up this morning and I'm not anymore. And, you know, my relationship with President Trump began when I was on his show, Celebrity Apprentice. And it's been really him just always doing very kind things to me and for my family. After spending 8 years in prison, inmate number 408922424, with that white hair, that was me. And he pulled me out of there. It would have been 12 and a half years, assuming good behavior, and I was a well-behaved inmate. And then he did this, which was really a remarkable thing. And I'm so grateful. It's an everlasting gratitude. I speak for my two daughters and for my wife, but I also speak for the American people, because what they did to me, to a Democrat governor, way back when, at the AAA level, they've been doing to President Trump at the major league level. And some of the very same people who did it to me felt emboldened that they can get away with it doing it to a governor, so they decided to try and do it to a president. And in a larger sense, it's terrible what they did to President Trump and his family, me as well, but it's terrible what they are actually capable of doing to we the people and steal from us our right to choose our leaders in elections. You don't like me, vote against me, but don't trump up fake criminal charges by weaponized, corrupt prosecutors who lie and cheat and abuse the system and misuse their power and abuse their power. And so President Trump is, you know, he's on a frenetic pace in his first 3 weeks, righting all kinds of wrongs. This is one of the smaller ones relative to the other ones he's doing. Yeah. And on a personal level, man, I owe him, Greg. He's a great guy. He's a very kind guy. You know him, and I know him somewhat, and he's been nothing but a kind person to me when the cameras aren't on.
Right.
He's just a great effing guy.
Big heart, biggest heart. Then people, I think people are seeing that, actually. Hey, your future, actually, back when you were a congressman, before you were governor, you spent a lot of time in Europe, Eastern Europe, helping out over there. You've got roots over there. And that came up in the Oval Office yesterday, in a way. Take a look.
Are you considering him for ambassador to Serbia?
No, but I would. I mean, he's now cleaner than anybody in this room. He got a pardon. He's cleaner than anybody in the room.
I love it. But you do have significant experience, both diplomatic and, I believe, you know, heritage.
Yes, my father came from Serbia. He was an immigrant who came to America after World War II. He didn't want to go back to a communist country after spending 4 years in a Nazi prisoner of war camp and 3 years in a refugee camp. So he came to America, didn't speak a word of English, didn't have a penny in his pocket. He loved America. It was a place of freedom and opportunity. I went back to my father's homeland. I met President Vučić there in Belgrade. He reminds me so much of President Trump. There's an economic miracle going on in Serbia led by President Vučić. They were number 2 in growth domestic product last year in Europe. They have a 270% increase in real wages for working people since Vučić became president. It's a country that's booming. It's an economic miracle. And he's a lot like President Trump. The same people who hate Vučić hate Trump. And I think we have a great opportunity to build better relations with Serbia. The United States under Bill Clinton, and Joe Biden was one of these war hawks, decided to bomb Serbia and take away part of their country. And they were bombing a Christian country to take away the southern portion, southwestern portion of that country and give it to the Kosovar Albanians without UN approval. So they did to Serbia what Russia's been doing to Ukraine. And the Serbs love Americans. They love Donald Trump. Yeah. In a poll of European people who would vote in American elections if they could, Serbia had the highest support of President Trump by far, with better than 60% supporting Donald Trump. And I think it was even higher than that. So I hope that there could be an opportunity for the United States and Serbia to create a new strategic partnership, because it's a powerful country in the Balkans, in a very complicated part of the world historically. And the Serbs were allies of the United States in 2 world wars. And there's no reason why we shouldn't try to be allies with them again.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.